CP.
Are you serious? He's gone! 40, 30, Portis all the way! Touchdown Redskins, 64 yards!
26 minutes.
He's pretty sharp. You know, he'll coach you up on the Miami guys and everything else. He's kind of fun to be around. Got an opinion, too.
You know, I've been blessed to have the opportunity to go out and be myself and say the things that I say. And, you know, for the outside world, they can deal with it how they deal with it.
26 minutes with Clinton Portis. CP. Teach him something.
Welcome to 26 Minutes, episode 35, the draft edition. Last night, we just got new additions to the team. So with the 15th pick, we went out and took quarterback from Ohio State, Dwayne Haskins.
Haskins.
When you hear that name called, you know, the speculation was already there for the Skins to take a quarterback in the draft. At 15, the way the draft fell, when you hear this name called, your immediate reaction was what?
Okay. I honestly didn't think that he was going to be there. I thought he was going to New York. I didn't think he was going to be there. And I think as much as we've discussed it on this show in terms of maybe building on a defense, something that can be a true signature this year, as opposed to bringing in a new quarterback where weapons have been limited, I just didn't think he was going to be there. So once he was still there, it was like, okay, well, that's what we expected. Let's go.
So two other quarterbacks went before him. One was rumored to be on the Redskins' radar, and Daniel Jones. He actually went as a sixth pick to the New York Giants. Then all of a sudden, Haskins fall to 15. When you look at Haskins, the short period of time that he played at Ohio State, being a local kid, do you think that creates a problem? Like, being a hometown guy, you grew up 40 minutes away from here, and now you're about to be the face of a franchise in the upcoming years.
So I was working at a local station, and he was in high school at Bullis while I was there, so he was often on the high school sports show. The kid is really cool and settled, so I don't think it's a problem. I think, if anything, although he also had ties to the New York area, I think it's a positive. Not just for him personally, but for this fan base. We love to be able to take credit for athletes that come out of this area, and we've done it a ton in the NBA. There are more guys from this area that are sprinkled around the NFL, but people love to take credit for their hometown guys. Now, if he pans out in particular, I think it just becomes another layer to the lore of athletes that are produced out of this region.
Yeah, but I think for most guys, even leaving your area, you get all of these people. You get all of these new people. So being home, now you got all the kids you went to high school with. You got he was rumored to go to Maryland before switching to Ohio State. So you have all of those guys. You got all the kids that's at Maryland that you came and was recruited with. Like, you have all the pressure. When you, like, what's your escape? Because for a lot of guys, having an opportunity, like, especially for me, going to Denver was like, oh, man, I just got to go work out. But it was peaceful. Like, I was away from everybody. I was 2 hours behind the East Coast. So I just had peace. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to be pulled. The school wants you to come back and speak. Like, they want you to mentor the kids. The team wants you to focus. The church wants you, needs your time. Your parents want you at show and tell. Like, you're going to be pulled in a bunch of ways. And as you said, like, he's a cool kid. You feel like his maturity level ready to handle that right now.
Yes, but I also think he should probably seek some wise counsel in terms of how to best handle it. Change your number if you have to, and you put people in your immediate circle that are your first layer, are your buffers. The people that have this cell phone number are my coaches, my teammates, my intimate circle, and the rest of you get weeded through. I agree with you in terms of the magnitude or the magnetism now that is now happening, but this is what you dream of. Do you want him to say, "I don't want to play for the Washington Redskins"?
No. I think it's a golden opportunity. It's just everything that comes with that golden opportunity.
It's going to come with it either way, though.
So it looks great, and I get to play at home. But on the back end, it's like annoying. It's frustrating.
You know how to say no.
You do, but you're gonna run in those circles. Like you're 30 minutes away from your home.
But you're not going.
Up.
He's not in high school anymore. Like I hear what you're saying, but I think.
So it's like Jonathan Allen, right?
Okay.
We just had Jonathan Allen on the show. He's from this area, right? And he comes back to where he's from, and it's worked out for him. But he's from Loudoun County. Haskins is from Maryland. You know.
I got you.
So it's totally different.
But what? Yes, it's different, but this is what you ask for. So you figure it out. You figure it out. And the people that can't respect it, they weren't for you anyway. To whom much is given, much is required. I understand where you're coming from, but I think as a rookie, the level of focus that he's going to need, he'll be up here more time than he'll be anywhere near Bullis or that circle. I feel you, but I also think it could be slightly overblown. But I don't know. You lived it. I didn't.
So let's get to the on the field, right? The Redskins in need of a quarterback. What does this mean for Case Keenum? You know, is it competition open day one? What does it mean for Alex Smith, Colt McCoy? Like, what does this mean for the quarterbacks that's on the roster for the Washington Redskins?
Well, last night after the draft, Jay is on the record saying that we've got a quarterback competition out the wazoo right now. So, yes, I guess is the short answer for all of that. This year, I think there was so much variation in opinions on who's good, who could do this, who could do that. If the kid outplays them, if Dwayne Haskins comes in and outplays them, he's earned a spot flat out. I don't think that you draft him this high if you don't expect to put him on the field this season, so there may be a competition with an asterisk.
It's you drafted him at 15, knowing you need a quarterback of the future. You have Case Keenum that you went out and acquired via trade. Going into the season, I don't think anyone expects Dwayne Haskins to be opening day starter. At least I don't.
Are you sure?
Right? Yes, I'm positive.
Okay,
because
I'm asking.
You're not throwing. I don't think Kyler Murray will be opening day starter. Right?
Really?
It's 2 years ago. You look at the quarterbacks that came out 2 or 3 years ago. It was like guys needing to play into it. All of a sudden, Baker Mayfield, opening day starter, and everyone is not opening day starter. I didn't play in the NFL until like week 4. That was when I got my first real opportunity to carry the load, right? So at the quarterback position, which you need to know the entire offense. The good thing about it is Case Keenum needs to know the entire offense. So that's a learning curve you all get to experience together. The issue comes in as if you're not starting opening day, in case Keenum comes out and go 2-2. I mean, you have a really tough schedule. Yeah. So if Case Keenum comes out and go, 2-2 with this tough schedule, or 0-4, or you're 1-3, how soon will the pressure hit to put Haskins on the field?
I think that becomes more of a question if Case is successful, because if they go 2-2, what is it? It's the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Bears.
Yeah, but you have 4 really tough games.
That's what I'm saying. So if they go, and then I think the Patriots are like Game 5. I don't know who Game 4 is, but if Case Keenum is coming out and being successful, I think then you have more of a conversation. If Case Keenum is not getting it done, then we go with the shiny new toy, because at this point you have nothing to lose. If you look at Baker, obviously was a special player and proved himself early on, but he also went to an organization that had been the laughingstock of the league and had nothing to lose.
But he didn't open up with this schedule. I feel like the Redskins have one of the hardest schedules in the NFL. Like, this schedule was setting you up to fail. Like, it wasn't one of those, this team is in rebuilding mode. It's like, let's try to bury this team and let's see if this team can fight from coming out of the dungeon with blinders on. Like, looking at that schedule, it seems like that's the way it's set up.
The schedule is definitely doing no favors. What is it? The Eagles, the Cowboys, at Eagles, Cowboys come here, Bears come here, at Giants, Patriots come here, Dolphins here, or at Dolphins.
So in your first 5 games, realistically, you could be 0-5. Like, realistically, you could be 0-5. The Eagles have their entire nucleus coming back. The Cowboys
playoff team.
You're talking about playoff teams. You're playing 5 playoff teams, and you're in search of a quarterback, you're bringing in a receiver, you lost Crowder. The advantage, the only thing you have is a D-line, a proven D-line, a young, hungry D-line to look forward to. Because week one, you're not coming out Case Keenum going 400 or 500 yards passing.
We don't know that.
Yo, you do know.
Big smile, optimistic. If Case takes to the system quickly, you talked about him being a veteran, having been there before, or I don't know where we are in the injury situation, but Jay has always been a fan of Colt. You never
Colt
step on
just had another surgery.
Never mind.
Colt just had another surgery. So you look at Alex Smith, you look at Colt, like how many quarterbacks are you going to keep? All of a sudden, the frenzy of last year, having to go through 4 quarterbacks last year, it's like the panic button or the red alert is already on, and now you have 4 quarterbacks. So to me, when you go get a quarterback at 15, it's like, okay, well, maybe we don't expect Alex Smith back.
For sure.
Maybe Colt McCoy.
It's definitely about the future. But to your question, when do you put him on the field then? Considering that schedule, you can let him go ahead and figure it out early.
I don't think you put him, if you throw him in that fire, you're not going to throw him out, especially before the Patriots. You know what the Patriots are due to a rookie quarterback? If you look at their history, I think last year they had a stat of rookie quarterbacks, facing rookie quarterbacks. No one, like, they confuse a quarterback. Like, that's a confidence killer.
Yeah.
Like, you're facing the Patriots week 2, and you're the quarterback. Your second start is against the Patriots. Who in the hell wants that?
Welcome to the NFL.
Take it away.
The Times the Money family of scratchers from the Virginia Lottery has $345 million in cash prizes in the entire family. One game that features a top prize of $7 million and the chance to win to multiply your winnings anywhere from 2 times to 100 times. From 2 times the money and its top prize of $4,000 to 100 times the money and its top prize of $7 million. These games feature multipliers and the chance to win big. If you find a 100 times symbol in the 100 times the money, you multiply your prize by, you guessed it, 100. Think about money multiplied. That's what the Times the Money family means. Visit your local lottery retailer today.
Jake, where are you? Where are you, Jake? So as we continue on 26 minutes, so we had a second pick in the first round. We discussed Haskins. We could have got deeper into his on the field, but having an opportunity to talk about Sweat. You go out and you get the fastest DN outside linebacker in the draft, and Sweat ran a 4.41 coming out of Mississippi State. 22 sacks, 22 career sacks, 12 this season. You need a guy that could put pressure on the quarterback.
Absolutely. And I was a big fan of this. I think he's a guy that's worth it. I would hope and pray that the condition that is probably part of the reason that he fell on the board is not anything serious and that he's able to make an impact here. I was a big fan of the selection.
It's crazy how a month ago this kid was talked about possibly in the top 10 picks. And then all of a sudden, right before the draft, it's like, oh, he has a heart issue. And they don't go in depth of telling you what this issue is, how life-threatening or life-changing it could be. But when you go out and you spend a first-round pick on it, it's obviously something that you're saying, oh, he's going to be okay. It's just a red flag and awareness. But this costs him so much money. You go from top 10 to, what was it, 27?
26?
26. How could I forget? It was 26.
There you go.
Yeah, come on.
Look at that.
But much needed addition. I think every expert, every guy that spoke to the media from this team, you listen to Doug, you listen to Bruce, you listen to Jay, they all knew they needed a rush in. For them to trade back into the first round with the Indianapolis Colts, you give up 2 second-round picks, tonight's pick and next year's pick, to get a guy that you get to add to already your strong point on the defensive side of the ball. To me, I think this was a great pick. And I had been saying Brian Burns.
Who went right after Dwayne.
Yeah, who went number
North
16
Carolina.
to the Carolina Panthers. And instantly I thought, like, how crazy this is when you look at it, because I just wasn't expecting the Skins to take a quarterback at 15, knowing that they had glaring needs and they could solidify, like, when you get an opportunity to solidify a position, which they could have done with the 15th pick, they came back and done with the 26th pick.
So rewind, though. If you didn't expect them to take a quarterback at 15, I honestly just had no idea what they were going to do. But are you saying then you trust Case to get through this year, or you would have, like, what would have been your plan at quarterback?
Well, I trust Case. Okay. Last year, Case Keenum was the second hottest quarterback on the market, right? People forget. It's how quickly people forget. 2 years ago, Case Keenum was in the NFC Championship game with a chance to play Super Bowl in Minneapolis. And all of a sudden, you go to a system that didn't benefit your skill set, and it's like you fell off. Case Keenum did not fall off, right?
Okay.
The Denver Broncos had an offensive identity issue that everyone knew of. They didn't have an offensive line. They had to find a running game, which they found in Phillip Lindsay. Demarius Thomas got traded midway through. Sanders wasn't healthy. The tight ends, they just drafted a tight end, which means they didn't have one. They just drafted a tight end in the first round. So they had a lot of glaring needs and holes to fill. So I don't think Case Keenum had an opportunity to play and excel to the best of his ability.
Okay, now stop. There are still holes to be filled here.
Yes, correct. But with the 15th pick, you could have solidified your D-line, which you did with the 26th pick.
Right, we like that.
You did it with the 26th pick, so no one expected us to have 2 first-round picks. So still, knowing that you had the possible idea of trading back into the first round, I think you could have got a glaring playmaker to fill a need for Case
So you
Keenum.
would have been the wild card last night, because the first receiver to go was what? Hollywood Brown, who didn't go until 19? Where did he go?
But Hollywood Brown, you look at N'Keal Harry, who ended up in the best position. The Patriots always find a way to get a steal. N'Keal Harry was possibly the top receiver, right? And he falls to the Patriots.
What
He
a
falls to the
fortuitous
Patriots.
bounce.
Like,
But that's what that organization does. We know that.
but that's like now. So in years to come, everyone is like, "Oh, we should have drafted him." Yeah, you should have drafted him. You had an opportunity to draft him.
But it's not that simple, though. And you know that. And Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown went 25 to the Ravens. That was the first receiver off the board.
And I think that was a good pick for the Ravens. If you could find a way with that quarterback, and that's some speed on the Ravens' offensive side of the ball.
For sure.
All right. So they are loaded with speed. With the type of defense that they have, and now you have that kind of speed and playmaking ability on your offensive side of the ball, you need to figure out a way to score 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 in the game. And you have two players that could do it on one play. You see what I'm saying? Like, Hollywood Brown could go the distance at any moment. Their quarterback can go the distance at any moment.
Lamar Jackson.
So you look at us, and now we have 2 quarterbacks. You still haven't addressed your tight end position. You still haven't addressed your number 1 wide receiver position. You still haven't addressed your left guard position. Those are holes that you need to fill on day 2. You have 2 third-round picks, but that's 3 holes, 3 major holes that you need to fill. What wide receivers are going to be around in the 3rd round? You got 2 third-round picks today, right?
I feel you. But are those holes that you have to tackle through the draft, though?
You do. You missed them in free agency. What you mean? When else are you going to attack them? After the season, next year? Who else is going to become available?
Okay, so then what? Because you're right. Who's going to be left? This is when you have to really go into your scouting department. We have to pull some weeds back. Who are some guys that have some potential, that are under the radar, that would still be available?
Well,
I don't have those answers.
It's possible to trade back into the second round. You could trade back up into the second round. With
At what cost, though?
You got two.
Get rid of both of them?
No, you probably can get rid of one this year and a 6th rounder or something, or a 5th rounder.
All right. All right.
I'm just saying the possibility is there.
So
But let's talk about
okay. So you're willing to trade? If you had to pick one to trade up for, skill player, playmaker, or your left guard?
I would probably, in the second round, I would probably take a chance because DK Metcalf and AJ Brown are still available in this draft.
That's
right?
crazy to me.
So they're both available. I would take a chance on DK Metcalf in the second round. I really would. Like,
all right.
This is one of those spots. I would take a chance on Greedy Williams.
You've been saying that.
You have an opportunity, and that's not even a glaring need. But because he's available, I would take that chance. There's more upside in this situation than it is downside. I wouldn't have taken that chance with first round pick, maybe on Greedy, but not on DK. But now here in the second round, I'll take that gamble. Like, if it don't work, it don't work. It was a second round pick. And I'm okay with that because out of the first 3 picks that you took, like, someone has to pan out to be Pro Bowl level guy.
In the big picture, I think that Dwayne Haskins will be fine here. I think he'll do well. I think he'll be solid. We got to get through this year.
Let's the big picture about Sweat. You add Sweat to Ionitis Payne Allen. You have a young kid in Caleb Brantley that's going to play more. You have Tim Settle. And all of a sudden, that's your interior. Now, outside, you got Kerrigan, you got Sweat. I'm sure Sweat is probably almost immediately the starter. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. He's going to be a starter day one. You needed a guy to make an immediate impact, and he gets that opportunity, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I think we talked about it in terms of Darius coming back this year and having the tutelage of AP. Like, Ryan is well established, knows the ropes here of the organization, is a fan favorite, is productive. So to me, same thing there for him in terms of that tutelage that we saw. I think when we look at Preston's super talented. Shout out to him doing his thing in Green Bay. But he probably benefited as well from working so closely with Ryan. So I think.
But like when you look at Ryan, right? Ryan is a one direction guy. He doesn't have a retool. He doesn't have after that initial move. It's no let me spin out, come back, and give you more. You kind of got the same situation with Sweat now, right? You look at Sweat pass rush and him getting to the quarterback. Although the speed, his speed is amazing. His length, he could actually hold up for the run, but his pass rush moves. He doesn't have a arsenal.
So how tough is that to then develop though? Like if we the same kind of conversation we started having about Dwayne, about things that don't necessarily have to do with the skill set as is. I would think that would apply here as well. If he's willing to get in the trenches and work on that.
Yeah, it's just polish, right? Like for this organization, this organization doesn't develop, right? This organization, you are what you are when you arrive. I haven't seen anyone come and grow.
So now
right?
you have to tell me how much of that is on the organization versus a player.
Well, a player is only going to do what he's capable of doing. And if you're not pushing him to explore other ideas and other arenas of talent, then why would he go and change what he's used to doing, right?
To make himself better? No, that's not how that works.
But who's telling you to change it? That's what I'm saying.
You
need to have someone to coach you up. Like that's me as a high school kid going to the University of Miami thinking, well, I can run the ball and I know you're not going to tackle me and I'm fast. And all of a sudden my running backs, my coach Solinger telling me, hey, kid, if you don't learn how to block, everyone here knows how to run the ball. You better learn how to block. Or you need to do something different to separate yourself from everyone else. You have to become a student of the game. It was demanded from Coach Solinger. Who's going to demand that from Sweat?
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
I got you.
Who's going to
I'm
make
following.
him come to the realization, hey, kid, that head fake is not going to get it in the NFL. Like,
Right.
you need a spin move. You look at Dwight Freeney, he did, and not asking you to be Dwight Freeney, but he had 5 moves on one rush.
Mm-hmm.
He started out wide, he spin back underneath, and he reverse out. He might barrel crawl under you. Like, you like, what the hell is this man doing? And how did he do all of that? Right? You need someone to be able to say, look, this is what I need off the edge. But I don't see that development in Carey. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't see that in Carey.
Well, at this point, it's too far gone for him. It doesn't like if it's just someone saying, "Hey, this is going to take your game to the next level." Now we got to trust that he has the competitive drive, the wherewithal, the work ethic to make that happen. I hear what you're saying, but I also feel like as a player, and I could be wrong, didn't play football. If X is not working anymore, I can say to myself, "How do I develop Y?" Does it necessarily have to come from a power that be?
I just don't think as a player, maybe when you do your evaluation and look at yourself, it's like, oh, I need to add this. Of course, you begin to steal from other people. You know, like if I watch LaDainian Tomlinson, or I watch Fred Taylor, or I watch Edgerrin James or Corey Dillon, and I see something that they do, and it's like, oh, I need to bring that into my arsenal. Like, I need to see how he set that up, or I need to pick up the phone and say, you know, Fred T, like, what you do right here, you know, or E, like, what did you see right here to make you do this, right? But that was student of the game. Players are nowhere near that anymore. You know, you think of guys that really challenge themselves every year to come back with something new to the arsenal. You look at Antonio Brown, you look at some of these guys, young kids, when you don't have that, like you don't have that veteran on your team. I had Terrell Davis, I had Shannon Sharp, I had Rod Smith to tell me, hey, Rook, CP, do this, you know, and I can implement it. You know what? Maybe you should look at this, maybe you should look at that, but you don't have that here. But what you do have is you got to read.
That is, that's how we're going to end that conversation?
You got to read.
Fine. Helping people improve their lives is what should drive business. That's the belief at Koch Industries, which employs more than 65,000 people across America. The team at Koch works together to meet the world's changing needs in transportation, medical care, water filtration, household goods, energy-efficient building products, and everyday technologies, all while consuming fewer resources. See the innovations firsthand at kochindustries.com.
Have you heard about Creighton Farms, the private club community that's home to the Redskins? Creighton Farms is just 20 minutes from Dulles, but a world away. On top of its award-winning Jack Nicklaus signature golf course, pools, tennis courts, and other resort-style amenities, you'll find custom homes and villas that are simply extraordinary, starting at $1.5 million. For property and legal information, visit CreightonFarms.com, or, better yet, visit Creighton Farms.
Are uninvited pests ruining your plans? Let PMSI, the pest control partner of the Washington Redskins, handle it for you. Call today for your free inspection, and they'll work around your schedule to provide you the best solution possible to defend your home territory against pests of all kinds, including mold. Visit mypmsi.com for the game plan to control the pests on your home turf. That's mypmsi.com.
This is Rick Goslin with the Talk of Fame Network. This NFL season, FanDuel has more ways to win than ever before. New Beat the Score contests pay out everyone who hits a certain score. Now it's easy to find your friends and challenge them to play head-to-head fantasy contests for cash or bragging rights. New players, try FanDuel today and get a $20 bonus when you make your first deposit. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/Rick.
New users only. Bonus not available for withdrawal. State and age restrictions apply. For eligibility rules, terms, and conditions, go to FanDuel.com.
John Riggins here with a little tip. If you need a mortgage, take my advice and use the pros at McLean Mortgage. Buying a home can be stressful and filled with hassles. The experts at McLean Mortgage understand what an important financial investment your home is and will seamlessly guide you through the process to successful home ownership. Smooth, amazing, easy, professional, and first rate are just some of the reviews from their tens of thousands of homeowners, including me. I trust McLean Mortgage, and I hope you will too. Check them out at McLeanMortgage.com.
If you have atrial fibrillation, You know it can be difficult to treat successfully. Innova Heart and Vascular Institute in Fairfax is a leader in AFib treatment using specialized technology and expertise. This helps to more precisely target and treat rhythm irregularities that others could miss, helping to restore your heartbeat to normal. Give your heart the benefit of care. Visit innovaheart.org/AFib to learn more and to find an Innova physician. Innova. Join the future of health.
Have you been fumbling on your diet during tailgate season? Well, it's a new day for a new game, and White House Foods has the solution for you. With the vinegar beverage of choice, Detox. Packed with lemon, honey, cinnamon, and apple cider vinegar, this organic, non-GMO verified product is the play you need to get your head back in the game. From our orchard fields to your football field, White House.
I'm trying to meet that boy Clinton Portis, though. They say that boy, they say he's smooth on his feet. I'm trying to teach him something.
Teach him something.
Teach him something.
You're on 26 Minutes. Monica McNutt, Clinton Portis. We're draft special. Redskins added Dwayne, Haskins, and Sweat in the draft. First round picks traded back to pick up Sweat. Fastest guy, fastest DN in the draft. Much needed addition. Now we're at the point that shockers in the draft. There were a lot of shockers in the draft.
Shockers!
And it caught me off guard. Now, the one shocker that wasn't was Kyler Murray. I knew he was going to Arizona, and I knew they had a smoke screen playing around.
What was all
the
that
entire
bluffing?
time. So, if they would have passed on Kyler Murray, it would have been a huge mistake.
Expectations really quickly for this season from Kyler Murray.
I think he's going to be a dog. I honestly do.
You starting him week 1?
Well, your other option is Rosen. How does Rosen react to this competition, right? If Rosen is disgruntled and won't out, you don't have a choice but to start him, right? If Rosen comes out and demands a trade or he doesn't want to do right, he's not into this competition.
Assuming he's down to compete, then it's just whoever wins out.
Yeah, if talent wins out, then Murray should be the opening day starter.
Okay.
So when you look at this dynamic, you get to number 2. I felt like Bosa was a shocker to me. And the reason I feel like Bosa is a shocker, he didn't play this season, coming off an injury. It's rare you go as a second pick off of injury, right? You sit out on the team and you plan for the draft. That's usually a red flag. That's usually a negative. And all of a sudden, it's a cool thing to do, right? A couple years ago, when they started skipping bowl games for preparation, it was, oh, this kid is selfish. Now you're rewarding the guy who skipped the entire season to get ready. Hey, great for Bosa and having this opportunity. But I thought you had a kid in Allen. I thought you had Quentin Williams. You had some players that played their butt off that probably could have addressed the need that the 49ers had.
So, again, how much of this is the things that are not tangible? I do not know, was not in any interviews with these guys, Josh Allen, Quentin Williams, Bosa, none of them. But for whatever reason, Bosa was the 49ers guy. That had been well documented leading into this process. Do they like the fresh body? No, I feel you. But do they like having a young, fresh stud that it has no, well, we don't know exactly where he stands in terms of his injury and recovery, but clearly the Bosa legacy is a thing of beauty.
So the first shock would come in at number 4, the Oakland Raiders, who kicked out their scouts, and the coach and the GM decided they would do this thing quiet and not let anything get out. And boy, did they shock the NFL, because they went and got Clemson's D lineman,
Clelin Ferrell, what's going on with these numbers here?
So Ferrell, who played with Clemson, who had been a force. This was the kid that stayed in school, right? He
Correct.
Stayed in school. He could have left last year, stayed in school, and he goes as 4th pick in the draft. Major shocker, knowing that Devin White was on the board, and again, Allen was on the board, and they needed
Ed
a
Oliver's
rush
on the board too at that point.
Well, they needed a rush in since they traded Khalil Mack.
True. Okay, so his career numbers are 27 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 2015, 2018 with Clemson, and he is a champ. Attitude? Woohoo! He's the diamond in the rough.
So I actually like the kid.
Everybody
right?
seems to agree on that.
I actually like the kid. I think he's a tough player, but did they have to take him at 4? Like, they could have picked up a lot more by trading back, because I think his projection was like 17 or 18. So you take him at 4, he's projected at 17 or 18. You could have traded back to 10 or 12, picked up an extra pick in the second round or something.
It's the mad mind of Gruden. Woo!
All right, number 5 was who? Tampa Bay.
Devin White, your boy. You like Devin White?
Great pick for great pick for Tampa Bay. Number 6, another shocker, Daniel Jones to the New York Giants. Now this could come back to be a great pick for the Giants, and the reason I think the Giants took this kid is the familiarity with Eli Manning.
That is right. That seems like it's been the wave in the NFL decision making this entire offseason, though.
I think the familiarity and his coach, the Mannings go back to Duke to train with their coach. Daniel Jones is out of that system, so a lot of the things that he teach are like everything that Eli Manning already has, right? So they're from the same tutelage and has been getting the same instructions on growing their game. So this could actually be a great pick. Although it was a shocker for us right now, in due time, I think this could be a great pick for the New York Giants.
What's due time?
When he gets his opportunity. When
this season?
I'm not sure he plays this season.
Right, that's what I'm getting at.
But when he finally hits the field over the next 3 or 4 years, I think this could possibly pan out to be a great pick for the New York Giants.
I certainly believe Giants fans hope that you're right.
Next shocker.
Number
7. One pick later, Allen goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is possibly the best defensive player in the draft. He was supposed to be coming out of Kentucky, slipping to one of the better defensive teams in the NFL. Although the Jags were off last year, they have a lot of young talent to play with, and adding Josh Allen to this fold could help them tremendously.
The swag definitely matches on this one. That was a good look. I mean, Josh Allen, people had him going higher than what he went, so smart on the Jags. He could have possibly
been the first pick.
Absolutely.
And they get him at 7, so it's bargain sharp.
Smart on the Jags. At 8, you got T.J. Hawkinson, your tight end from Iowa, going to the Lions.
That's not really a shocker. He was shooting up boards, and he's a playmaker like a lot of teams needed him. So that 8 to 10 range, 7 to 10, because he was rumored to go to Jacksonville. So I don't think that's a shocker.
All right. Any more big-time shockers for you?
Who was 9?
9 is Ed Oliver. DT, Houston.
Buffalo. No, that's not a shocker. Ed Oliver, going into the season, was possibly the top pick in the draft. So he was rumored to be one of the better, higher picks in the draft.
Okay, so Ed Oliver, Bosa, we've had them loosely tied to these minor, I don't even want to use the word controversies, but the attitude with Ed Oliver and the jacket and that whole scene. And then Bosa doesn't want to play with his teammates and sits out. Anything comes to mind in terms of the mentality of my future teammate, this rookie that obviously thinks to some degree he don't stink?
Well, the best thing about Ed Oliver is he gets to wear a jacket probably 15 out of 17 games now that he's in Buffalo. He will not have any controversy on the sideline about wearing a jacket, because it's probably going to be snowing in September up in Buffalo. So he'll be fine.
Bosa sitting out doesn't mean anything to you. Now he's here, as long as he's here and ready to play.
I just think now that he's here, it's happened. It's time to get on the field and play. And he's right up the street from his brother. So I think that works out as well.
Fantastic. Devin Bush goes to the Steelers.
Another shocker, but
really?
Good pick for the Steelers.
Okay.
Yeah, good pick for the Steelers.
Then you got Jonah Williams, lineman out of Alabama, to the Bengals.
First lineman taken. Yeah, Bengals needed a lineman. Not a shocker.
Rashawn Gary goes to the Packers, edge out of Michigan.
Yeah, his stock kind of dropped, but he ended up in a good situation. You think of Michigan. He kind of remind me of B.J. Raji in that situation, so that's a good pickup for them as well.
Dolphins, Christian Wilkins, DT, Clemson.
Yeah, he was again, like Farrell, supposedly between that 16 and 20 range. So for the Dolphins to make the leap and take him earlier, I think that's good for him.
All right, and then 14, before the Skins were up on the board, the Falcons took Chris Lindstrom, guard out of Boston College.
I think good because Matt Jones was getting demolished last year. They got a lot of talent. They already have a lot of weapons. So I think they'll address, maybe pick up a running back in second or third round and then just address their offensive and defensive lines the rest of the draft.
So we had talked a bunch about the two tight ends. Noah Fant went 20 to the Broncos out of Iowa as well. And then the local kid, Darnell Savage, goes to the Packers, safety out of Maryland.
I think that's good. I think the next guy that I was impressed with is Jacobs going to the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders actually ended up having a good draft because you had 3 first-round picks. I don't think they were, picked at the right time, but the 3 guys that they got will all have an impact because Jacobs instantly comes in and he's probably starting week 1 and have a golden opportunity to take over out in Oakland.
Well, they also, you mentioned they got Jonathan Abram, the safety out of Mississippi State as well. That was the 3rd guy that the Raiders selected. Overall, this class, what are you expecting? I'm
looking forward to tonight. I'm looking forward to day 2 to see who else, because you still have a lot of talent on the board. A lot of guys, the kids from Washington, the cornerback, Greedy Williams from LSU. You still have a lot of guys, both wide receivers from Ole Miss, no running back, Singletary, the kid from FAU, the kid from Arizona State, I think, maybe, or Iowa State, the kid from Iowa State. So I still look to see what teams do with day 2 picks. And I think with those day 2 picks, you're going to be able to find a lot of gems that's going to pan out and be pretty good.
Well, Jonathan told us how stressful this day is for everybody. Hope everybody's keeping it cool.
Speaking of keep your cool, thanks for checking out episode 35. Catch us episode 36 next week. Peace out. 26 minutes. Monica McNutt, Clinton Portis.